morning, dear hearts. We are now in lesson 187. I bless the world because I bless myself. This lesson may sound like, oh, I think I've heard this idea before, because you have. This idea has come to us in many different ways. It is, again, the idea that no one can give unless he has. And all that I give is given to myself. Today I learned to give as I've received. I give the miracles I have received. And again, lesson 128, all that I give is given to myself. These ideas, this one lesson given to us in so many different forms, is one of the ideas that in the introduction, I believe, is referred to as these special blocks now that we're trying to eradicate. We're trying to lift them out of our path, because this idea of how giving and receiving are in truth is so diametrically opposed to the world. But remember that this world is only the the mirror image of heaven, but shrouded in pain and fear and doubt. So this will be heaven when we remove these special blocks and are able and willing to only see the light and the love that is already here. So today's idea is one of those special blocks that we are going to do our best to remove today by truly understanding it. One of the ideas that is prevalent throughout the course that we need to understand is that ideas do not leave their source. And here it says ideas must first belong to you before you give them. They don't leave their source. And if my idea is one of love and truth and joy, then that idea is coming through me from the Holy Spirit, from God, from my elder brother. So I must have that idea in order to give it. Yesterday's lesson was about salvation. Salvation of the world depends on me. Well, again, it is mentioned in today's lesson as well, saying that if you are to save the world, you must first accept salvation for yourself. And we can alternate that word salvation with freedom. So if I want to be free and I want to be able to help free this world, then I must have accepted this idea of freedom for myself. The lesson talks a lot about, giving and receiving, obviously. And the very beginning says, in fact, giving is proof of having. And we know that. Again, we've heard this before. This is not new information. But sometimes we have to hear things multiple times from different sources, and all of a sudden the light bulb of truth goes off. I love when the Course says the truth will dawn upon you. And I have that little image of, in a cartoon, of the light bulb over someone's head, the character's head going off. The truth has dawned upon that character. The truth will dawn upon us as well. In this world, if I give something, it is gone. If it's a commodity, it's something in form, and then I no longer have it. But the idea that I first had of wanting to give someone something, yes, it's in form, but it came from an idea of love surrounding and extending towards that being, that brother of mine. And so the idea will still be within me and will still be shared. That loving thought will still be shared even after the gift of commodity has disappeared, that it no longer is. If it's a bottle of wine, or if I treat someone to dinner, the meal is consumed, the wine is gone, the perfume, the tchotchke, whatever it is, that can disappear, that can fall and break. It will no longer stay because nothing in form does. But the loving thought that started the idea. Ideas leave not their source. The source was love. That idea will remain. The lesson says, and it has a couple of wonderful paragraphs I do want to share. Never forget you give but to yourself. Who understands what giving means must laugh at the idea of sacrifice. We cannot sacrifice anything because we've never, the commodity, the thought, the loving thought does not disappear. It is not used up, so it is not sacrificed. It lives on forever. And then the paragraph goes on to say, nor can he fail to recognize the many forms which sacrifice may take. If I believe that if I give something to someone and it is gone and I no longer have it and I feel empty because of that, I can feel depressed and in fear and put upon. But in truth, as this lesson talks about, he laughs as well as pain and loss, at sickness and at grief, in poverty, starvation, and at death. He recognizes salvation remains the one idea that stands between them all. In his gentle laughter, they all are healed. If we understand that all of these things, all of these dismays are only thoughts that are coming from an ego, fear-filled mind, you can laugh at the idea that there ever would be a sacrifice because they're only illusions. They are not real. So what can be sacrificed? In the Course, we're told the only thing we are asked to sacrifice is our pain and our fear. Everything else is given to us. Only these thoughts that are illusory and that are painful, those must be recognized so they may disappear, and nothing ever is sacrificed. In paragraph 10, I want to read that because the number 1 is the only number that has true significance, because we are all one. And this paragraph states it all perfectly. Now we are one in thought, for fear has gone. And here, before the altar of one God, one Father, one Creator, and one thought, we stand together as one Son of God, not separate from Him who is our source, not distant from one brother who is part of our one self, whose innocence has joined us all as one. We stand in blessedness and give as we receive. The name of God is on our lips, and we look within. We see the purity of heaven shine in our one reflection of our Father's love. I bless the world because I bless myself, because I recognize and I know the oneness that I am part of. And so because I recognize this oneness, I am blessed by it. And as I receive that blessing, accept that blessing, now I give that blessing. This is why the salvation of the world will depend on thus the one self that we are. That's it for today. I hope this helped. Please like, please share, please comment, please pray. Like, share, comment, subscribe. I almost forgot. Subscribe. Pray. Please be here tomorrow. And please remember that you are loved and you live in truth and you live in God's love. Namaste.